These weapons have existed for more than 40 years. So for more than 40 years we've known that they breach all 4 international criteria usually applied to banning weapons of war, because their effect cannot be limited, because they inevitably affect civilians, and so on. Yet we haven't campaigned for abolition of this type of weapon. So if the German government responds to a parliamentary question by the Left Party by saying uranium weapons do not breach international law, then that is so because we have prevented their abolition. According to all the valid things we have created for ourselves, the Geneva and Hague Conventions, our grandfathers worked so hard to get onto paper, and which were signed by all the states, such a weapon is actually absolutely banned, and its use branded as a war crime. We still have a long way to go to outlawing these weapons, and of course compensation to the peoples impacted. I count the Palestinians, the Near East, the Balkans, Iraq, and especially Afghanistan. There's a lot to catch up with there, and I deplore greatly that most Afghan hospitals refuse to allow genetic material to be examined, or tissue material to be taken from people killed, or children deformed so badly that they cannot survive, or even from living ones. These could then be sent to trustworthy laboratories, which could prove the effects of uranium weapons. We're being denied that proof up to now. That is self-evidently also internationally illegal and breaches the Hippocratic Oath to ethically practice medicine. Doctors who refuse to cooperate on this should be made to take down their shingle and should clearly be banned from practicing.
Unless we prosecute those crimes, then we are guilty of covering them up, and we cannot claim to be a country based on law. These are international crimes. These are war crimes. So they must be prosecuted.
Im Herbst 2008
in the autumn of 2008, the United Nations had a vote on whether this weapon should be banned. 144 states voted to ban it, but only 4 voted against and thereby achieved a veto. Those 4 were the USA, Britain, France and Israel.
Im Frühjahr 2008 hat
In the spring of 2008, the press agency in Iraq, which actually operates by permission from the Allies, reported that in Iraq alone 18 regions can no longer be lived in. These are around Baghdad, around Nasiriyah and around Basra, where dreadful tank battles took place in 1991 and 2003. That means it's now recognized that such regions are actually uninhabitable and that people living there have to be resettled somewhere else. But that's too late, of course. They've been breathing this stuff in for years, and because of that they will fall ill with cancer, with leukemia, and die. And I fear that it's planned like that the aim really is to systematically destroy a population, to decimate them. People's genes will be damaged and they'll no longer be able to bear healthy children. So that what we're doing there is very clearly genocide, a creeping genocide. The giant Tora Bora system of caves in Afghanistan was bombed because Osama bin Laden was assumed to be there. But it's also one of Afghanistan's biggest water source areas. So the bombing systematically made the spring water unusable. It has been poisoned by the high toxicity of these bombs, and it's radioactive. I'm feeling that this is the most important issue I have dug up in my career, and we have to bring it to public attention. I don't want to be told someday, you knew about it but did nothing.